Hello friends and welcome back to the shop. Today is Sunday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. So happy St. Patrick's Day to all you folks that are Irish or half Irish like I am, or maybe just like the idea of being Irish. I've heard people say that everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day. Of course, the real Irish know better, but it's a great day. So I hope you're all enjoying it and doing something traditional and eating some of that delicious Irish cuisine, or at least having yourself a Guinness later today. So it's a great morning here. It's cloudy but warm, and I'm gonna be getting some yard work done this afternoon. I got some done yesterday, just getting things cleaned up and ready for lawn maintenance and such as we move into spring. So it's a great time of year. I like being able to get outside again and work in the work on the lawn, work in the gardens. Just it's a different mode of getting stuff done, and I enjoy it. So that's to look forward to. But let's get a pipe going. I have not loaded the pipe up yet because we are doing the tobacco of the week as chosen by you, the viewers of the Friday Night Live stream. I love doing that. I know it's goofy. So this week's tobacco is one that's been bouncing around in the box for a long time. It kept coming up and people weren't voting for it, and finally it was the last jar, so we have to smoke it. And it's actually a pleasant surprise. It is called Quantum. This is a sample from 2015, and Quantum was a blend made for it's for PCCA, which I believe is the Pipe Collectors Club of America, and it was blended by McClellan for the Pipe Collectors Club. It was popular enough that McClellan put it out for a while, but of course they shut down production 2017 or so. So this was maybe being sold from 2015 to 2017, somewhere in that range. And I am going to be smoking that in this Irish Second, which, you know, fits the day. Irish Seconds were Peterson Seconds, wonderful pipes back in the day. I believe they still do sell them, but the quality is not what they used to be. I have several of these. I really love them. The older ones. One of the first real pipes one of the first non-drugstore pipes I bought was an Irish Second. And the interesting thing is you can hardly ever find a flaw on these. This one has a very tiny fill that you may or may not be. Yeah, there you can see it right in there. But other than that, this is an absolutely perfect pipe. And that coloring, that is natural briar. So these were not stained or finished even. I believe it might have had a light wax coating on them. And I have not done anything to this pipe other than smoke it. This is at least 20 years old. And that's just what happens to briar over time. You know, some people think it's because the smoke seeps through and stuff. It's not. It's just briar oxidizes and turns this beautiful dark reddish brown color over time. So let's put some PCCA Quantum in this pipe and get it smoking. And I'll tell you all about it. And I'm going to give you some updates on what's been going on here in the shop. The tobacco is a very nice dark Virginia ribbon cut. The smell of this, it's hard for me to place. It doesn't have any of that that McClellan vinegary smell to it, but that might just simply be because this is old. I had to rehydrate it, so that might have dissipated, which in my opinion is a good thing. I never liked that. The tobacco is a straight Virginia, which, you know, doesn't exactly fall into my wheelhouse, but I can appreciate a quality tobacco, and this is definitely quality Virginia leaf, which of course is what you would expect from McClellan. It's a shame they had to put vinegar on it, but that's a story for another day. Loads easily. It's a little chunky. It's not a fine ribbon cut. It's more of a chunky ribbon cut. But, and of course, this is out of production. You're probably never going to be able to smoke it, so enjoy it vicariously through me, and I'll try to tell you about it. I wish I could place that jar note because it's very familiar to me, but I just can't place it. the first thing you're hit with is that sweetness, and it's a very deep sweetness. I say this a lot, but I like to distinguish between the bright Virginias, which to me have a very tart, light sweetness, and then the red Virginias, and certainly the aged red Virginias, have a very deep caramel-like sweetness that I enjoy a lot more. And this has got that in spades. Very light spiciness on the retrohale. Oh, come on, lighter. Uh-oh. I just filled this. Ah, we go. So Quantum is it's a good solid Virginia. It's not. It's interesting, given how dark it is and given how much red Virginia appears to be there. It's actually a very light flavor. Good mouthfeel, good amount of smoke, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a burley smoker, and I appreciate more of a heavy base to the tobacco. But it's light. I said on the live stream, and I stand by this. It suffers from a distinctive lack of perique, but that's opinion, obviously. But what I can say is it's a very pleasant smoke, and it's not something I would consider an all-day smoke just because I think it needs to be appreciated. It's not something. Well, I mean, you could smoke it all day because it's very non-offensive. I mean that in a good way, but if you want to get something out of it, you got to concentrate on it. Otherwise, you're just kind of sucking hot air, and I don't see the point. So, if it were still available, I would say if you're a Virginia smoker, it's definitely worth trying. But comparing it to my favorite straight Virginia blend, which is the GLP's blend that I always forget the name of, Union Square. Comparing it to that, Union Square just has a lot more flavor and complexity, even though it is just Virginia's. This is a little lacking in that category. But good tobacco, good quality leaf for sure. Okay, so as you might have noticed from the title card, I wanted to give you some updates on my pipe making journey. I've been having a lot of fun. Once I got that section of the shop organized and I was able to clear off my lathe and get that running again, I still need to do some maintenance on the metal lathe. I'd like to replace the bearings and put in some metal gears. I have all the parts for it, but it's a long-term project because I got to tear the whole thing apart and I don't know when to do it. But anyway, the lathe is running again. It wasn't broken, it was just covered in junk from me trying to reorganize. So I wanted to get back into fooling around with pipes right away, which I shouldn't have done because I got other things to do, but nevertheless, I started doing that. And I'm going to show you a couple of things that I think you'll find interesting. Maybe you won't. Maybe this is just me talking to myself. But first is I bought some. Well, let's start with the more recognizable thing. So you're all probably familiar with this. You probably have seen these blocks of briar before. And this is what you usually start with if you're making a pipe. Unless you buy like a kit where it's pre-drilled or something. So this has no holes in it, it's just a big block of briar. It's still got some plateau on it and all that. And I've got these. I been buying them over the years and keeping them. And when I want to make a pipe, I pull one of these out, and you probably have seen videos of how people do this, and I'm just learning the process. But you sketch it out, you square off the side, and you mount it in the lathe, and you drill, and so on. Now the nice thing about this approach is you can square this off, you can mount it in the lathe, and you can get very accurate drilling. So that is how I made this, which is this will be billiard number 3 in my 10 billiard challenge. So I'm going to make 10 billiards, and at that point I'll maybe branch out and try other things. But I want to get this shape down, and I want to learn as much as I can about the internal engineering from making this shape. I feel like I already know a lot about that from all the years of pipe repair work that I did, but nevertheless I want to continue to work on that. So let me just give a quick relight here. So that stummel that I just showed you started off as a block of briar like this, and had to be drilled and shaped. And this is, I'll put the stem on, so I'm I'm using up some odds and ends I have in terms of stem material. So this is going to have a rather wild stem on it. But this is just off the sanding wheel. So I have not done any hand shaping on this yet. It's still got lumps and bumps in it and needs to be finessed. But that's the place we are in the making of billiard number 3. But I wanted to play around with something else, and I bought some of these what are called pre-phrased stummels. So this guy here, you can see this is sort of a pipe in the making. You can see there's still some parts that have not been taken down yet. Basic shape is there. This went on into a machine in a factory, and the machine has cutters that are designed just to come in and go zip and make that shape, and then it turns around. This is an interesting one because it's got a square shank. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. And often you can get these where the tobacco chamber and the airway are drilled, and then it's just a matter of putting a mortise on it, fitting a stem, and then doing the shaping. So there's some real benefits to this. I mean, one is you don't have to do all that initial drilling, and if that's what you want to do, if you just want to get into pipe making and make them, just as a hobby for yourself, whatever, that's one way to do it if you can find these. The other real benefit is that this is old. This is from a factory that shut down probably in the 50s, 60s, maybe 70s. But this is rather old, so the briar is very well aged. Now there's problems with it. There can be a lot of flaws because these are just block after block of briar put on the machine, tossed in a barrel, and that's what they did all day. So, and some of these have significant flaws in them, but they're cheap. I got this for under $3. This block of briar today probably costs $30, $40. So screwing this up is a lot more expensive than screwing this up. And I wanted to learn a couple things from this. One was drilling the airway, because these guys do not have the airway drilled. And that's a challenge because you can't put this in the lathe. You have to figure out how to drill that airway on center and have it meet the tobacco chamber properly. And that's using methods that are more akin to what the Danish pipe makers would do, where they would shape the briar block first and then drill it out. And it's something I wanted to learn, so it's given me an opportunity to do that. Also, since a lot of these have flaws, if they're outside flaws and they're not too serious, that would allow me to work on rustication methods, which I haven't done a lot of. So I had one of these that looked like a billiard, and I turned it into this guy here. So this is the stem on this is not a great stem. I did this very quickly because this was just an experiment. I mostly wanted to see if I could drill it, and I was able to drill it. Not perfectly. I mean, you're not going to be able to see the airway there, but the airway's perfect in terms of where it needs to be. But you might notice that the mortise is actually off center by quite a bit. It's asymmetric. So I'm still learning, but that was the first time I ever did that freehand drilling method, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. It has some significant flaws. Maybe you can see there's one right there. It's a pretty deep pit, and actually some of those are also apparent on the inside of the pipe. So this is not something that I would even give away, but I'll use it as a shop pipe, smoke it, and see what happens. And I also played a little bit with the drilling, the drilling in the stem. So the stem's got some differences to what I would normally do, just to try things out and to play with the engineering. So it's another approach. It's actually really challenging because you got to square this off. This is not squared. You see there's a center mark there, which would be helpful, but when you square this off, the center mark goes away. So you have to reestablish that center and figure out the lines so that you can hold this and move it into a drill bit. And it was a lot of fun playing with this. And it's a nice looker, I think. I like the rustication. I like the way that turned out, and I've never done a full rustication before, so I'm pretty proud of that. Proud. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this. It's neat when you can take, this took, if I did it straight through, if I had an 8-hour day to do it, and I could have done this in a day. And it's neat that you can produce something that quickly and then try it. So if you want to try different methods of drilling the airway, of drilling the stem, it gives you a chance to experiment like that, and you can experiment with finishing techniques and things like that. So that's been a lot of fun, and then just learning how to do this has been an absolute blast, and I've got a long way to go, which is why I'm doing 10 billiards. So I thought you'd enjoy a little update on that. So today I got yard work to do. I'm going to wait until after lunch, so let it warm up a bit. It's going to be in the 50s today, which will be fine. Mostly you got to pick up branches that have fallen down over the winter and kind of accumulated on the lawn. I do have a lawn guy that does the mowing for me, but he doesn't like it when there's big branches in the middle of the lawn. Go figure. So I got to gather those up, and there's some leaves that have been there since the fall that I put into piles and never got around to getting them out in the street for the leaf pickup. So I got to deal with those, bagging them up. It's just been fun. And the bags are quite heavy because underneath the top layer it's wet. My wife would tell me I'm not allowed to put those out for the trash man, but I'm going to do it anyway. Married life. It's a wonderful thing. So I will get off to do those things. Maybe I'll have some time to putter around here in the shop before lunch, and then go on and have the rest of my Sunday. So I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. I hope you're enjoying St. Patrick's Day, wearing some green, and again, enjoying some of that fine Irish cuisine. The Italian in me has to make fun of that. Sorry. So happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. Have a great Sunday, and I hope you're looking forward to a fantastic week ahead. And until we speak again, I will look forward to talking to you all again very soon. So goodbye now.